I'm with Macalester, 2012 graduate, former baseball player, all MIAC, all region player, and current member of Team Israel at the Tokyo Olympics, Mitch Glasser. Mitch, how's it going out there?
Good. Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
What time is it there? I think it's in the day right now. So you mentioned you're between games.
Correct. Yeah, it's a day off for us today. We just came off 2 games. Day off. It's about 11 a.m. right now. And then we're back at it tomorrow afternoon. And pool play's over, so elimination games begin.
Certainly had a couple of competitive games. I know coming in, Team Israel may be the biggest underdog just because of their world ranking, which probably is a little misleading. But you've certainly represented yourselves and Team Israel very well so far through these first 2 games.
Absolutely. I think that was our goal coming in. And I think it's funny when you talk to people. I don't know if funny is the right word, but everyone's like, hey, no matter what happens, we're so proud. And that feels good to hear. But we're at the Olympics. We're here to win. We're here to medal. That's our goal. And we are coming off those 2 losses. And as you said, they were competitive games. But we didn't have expectations coming in. But now we have a chance. Elimination games. We can have this day here to reset, and then we're back at it starting tomorrow.
That's great. I know that you're there. It's a business trip at this point. Certainly, you guys are looking to win games and play well. But Mitch, you're in the Olympics. Tell us what that's been like. It's kind of a dream for a lot of people. Just talk about kind of your experience so far. Being at Tokyo and being in the Olympics.
Yeah, it's still surreal. And it was nice. We had a couple days to get over the jet lag and get adjusted. And what better way to do that than explore the Olympic Village? And there's the Japanese hosts have been incredible, and the volunteers, because although there's no fans allowed at our games, no spectators, the volunteers and the energy that they bring, and just so much positivity. And we didn't know what to expect when we got here as far as what the people in Japan would have wanted, but have only felt welcome here. And just walking into the opening ceremonies and feeling the camaraderie and being in the tunnel with all the other countries and trading pins and walking into the food hall and just seeing all these different athletes that are also driven and everyone has their goal in mind, yet there's such positivity, no matter where everyone's from. And I'm wearing Israel across my chest, and you run into people from all across the Middle East, but still willing to have a conversation. And so it's a really special place. It truly is.
Now, Mitch, I know you've been a baseball player most, if not all, of your life. But did you ever grow up with maybe watching the Olympics and thinking, it would be amazing to be in the Olympics, just kind of as a childhood dream like most of us?
Well, as far as baseball goes, I remember growing up and I had a couple USA baseball cards. I remember having a Ben Sheets Team USA baseball card. And I remember thinking how cool that was. And of course, watching the Olympics, watching Michael Phelps and how you feel watching that, cheering him on. But my wife can attest. I always said I was going to the Olympics. I just didn't say that it was going to be in baseball. I always told her I was going to be in ping pong, or table tennis, as we say here. So now this is kind of this whole baseball thing's kind of pushed back my table tennis dream. So I'm gonna have to, once this baseball thing is done, I'll focus on my next sport.
I don't know if you've had a chance to watch any of those guys, and the women. Their hands are so fast. I have no idea how they see the ball.
I was just watching the men's bronze medal game yesterday. It's really incredible. And then got to play with Tian Weifeng from Singapore. I got to see her and meet her and talk to her in the rec room. So that was really special for me. That was fun.
Any other name dropping that you can do that you've run into some of these athletes that we're kind of familiar with now?
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of guys have seen the USA basketball guys, and for me, I saw Novak Djokovic, so that was very cool. I played some table tennis with Alice Cornet. She's a French women's tennis player, and she's been a world top 15, and she's had a long career. So it's pretty wild because people are unassuming. People let their guard down here. They're just here to experience this Olympic dream that everyone has, and so people let their guard down and really just want to feel the positivity and compete. And when you're around that, and for us, I can speak to the Israeli side. It's just there's nothing like being in the dugout when you're just cheering for each person, and because you want them truly to succeed, because it's about the team and about winning and competing and enjoying each other, and it's a great feeling. It's a great sense of pride.
That's kind of always how I was hoping it would be. Like you see the people competing on TV, and that's only a small part of it. You kind of hope that there would kind of be this esprit de corps throughout the athletes, and it's kind of gives me goosebumps a little bit to hear you say that that's actually a big part of your experience. When did you find out, I guess, that, or when did you start thinking that the Olympics might be a possibility for you? And then what was it like when you found out that you were going to Tokyo?
Sure. I remember we had to qualify. Team Israel did. We had to qualify through Bulgaria in 2019, win our Pool B in Lithuania, and then we had to go to Germany and finish in the top 5 out of 12 in the European Championships in order to qualify for the Olympic qualifier in Italy following that. So it was a wild ride, and so never really thought that Israel, we were always the underdog. So getting to Italy and then winning our first 3 games against the 3 teams that had just beaten us in the European Championship. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, this might happen. But of course, didn't want to, count my blessings too early. And so, but I remember our game against South Africa, that final game that was, if we won it, we'd advance. I remember at the end of the game, Danny Valencia was playing first base. I was at second base, and he said, we're going to be Olympians. And so I was like, Danny, calm down. We were up by, I think, 8 at that time, or maybe more. So, but sure enough, that's when it kind of became, it's going to be possible. And then it got a little interesting with our 2020 experience. So I don't think after that 2020 experience, I didn't believe it, or I didn't want to expect anything to happen, probably until the opening ceremonies. I always thought it was going to be landing in Tokyo, but it was after the opening ceremonies, after being in the Olympic Village, and wow, we're here. And then obviously playing in those first 2 games, even though there was no one in the stands, and that would have been incredible to play in front of 40,000 people there. But still, there's competing against these other countries. It's a feeling I won't forget. It's just another baseball game, but still there's something there when you look up and in the rafters, you see Tokyo 2020 still there.
You started playing for Team Israel, looks like maybe 5-6 years ago. How did that all come about?
Sure. After my towards the end of my 2016 season, I was playing in Joplin, Missouri, playing in the American Association. And I got a call from Jerry Weinstein, who's the manager of the Israeli World Baseball Classic team. And he said, hey, if you're interested, we're putting together a list of ball players that can compete in the World Baseball Classic, and we have a qualifier coming up. This would have been at the end of 2016 in September. And I said, absolutely. And that was always a thought when I knew Israel was entering the World Baseball Classic, that I wanted to play for them. And so to get that phone call and to get that opportunity, I was all in, whatever it took. And so I was able to play for them in 2016 at the World Baseball Classic qualifier, where we won that. And so that's what started the whole journey.
Yeah, it's just maybe for some people out there that don't understand how the Olympic tournament works. Sometimes people think that the whole world is there. There are 6 baseball teams in the Olympic tournament, and Mitch, you're one of just a handful of players on Team Israel. You're in a really small, special group, and just want to underscore that to the people out there. Baseball isn't one of those sports that where there are so many countries playing. Now, you certainly had to qualify moving up, certainly, but it's really kudos to you, Mitch. I know Coach Parrington, we're all really proud of everything you've done thus far, and we think you've got some good stuff ahead. You're playing with a team that has some former major leaguers and some minor leaguers like yourself. How close is the team, and how is you mentioned everyone's really pulling for each other, but how did that kind of work out with people kind of coming from different areas and also different times of their career?
Yeah, I can't really speak more to what advantage I think we have as a team. And in baseball, it's a little different. It's not like football where if you have an offensive line that can just push down the defensive line, you're going to win that game. Baseball's a little different, as you know. So when you have that bond and you can figure out, or I guess it's that camaraderie. So, and I think that works to our advantage, having guys like Ian Kinsler, Danny Valencia that have combined 23 years in the big leagues and have that experience, down to guys that are Israeli-born players that are still playing college right now, who are just our springboard for the future of Israeli baseball. And to mix that, and how willing all the older guys with their wealth of experience are willing to talk to those younger guys, and then all those guys in between that are so hungry and at the end of their careers, or guys that are still in AAA trying to get back to the big leagues. So like you said, it's a nice mix, and I think that plays to our advantage. But at the end of the day, the common denominator is everyone wants to win, and we're all linked by that identity, whether it's that we grew up with that Jewish identity, but also our baseball identity. So that link's really powerful. So we have something different that links us, I think, than some of the other teams.
So far, you've started out yourself individually. You've had a pretty good tournament. 2 hits, 2 for 6, 333 average, which is second best on the team. You have a walk and a run as well. And I think Ian Kinsler might have helped you score that run a little bit in the first game against Korea. And then you were also having a great year at Sioux Falls for the Canaries in the, again, you mentioned the American Association, 345. I think you have 33 runs in 39 games. You're kind of tearing it up there as well. And certainly from my perspective, you're a young man, but baseball-wise, you're advanced now in your career a bit, 31 years old. And can you kind of explain the late success that you're having at this time of your career?
Yeah, I had some good motivation this last year, a good off-season prepare, and nothing to motivate you like the Olympics, I guess. But just a lot of good people that I have surrounding me that help me keep my body healthy, that gave me opportunities. My manager in Sioux Falls, to the people that I train with during the off season, and just a great support network of people to talk to, and that have kept this baseball dream going. If you would have been talking to me before my time at Macalester, even when I was younger than that, and told me that into my 30s I'm still playing baseball, and that I was able to play professional baseball through my 20s, I don't think the younger version of me would be very disappointed. So I'm very grateful and blessed to still be able to do that, and to have some feeling of success towards the cap of my career, and that I've kept it going is definitely feels good. But at the same time, I think the important thing is, and my teammate Zach Penpraise, who's my mental skills coach, who I talk to, just so learning more about the mental side and the physical. Obviously, preparing your body and physically is so important, but also just I've kind of talked about it probably a bunch just in our interviews, just canceling all the expectations and just trying to be where my feet are and enjoy the moment. I think has been really important. Just trying to have fun, and it's easier said than done sometimes. So, but being able to feel that and have some success, and now that the group play is done, now we're confident and we're ready to go.
That's great. It's just exciting to hear that you're still enjoying yourself, still having a good time playing what I think a lot of people would say a kid's game, and being able to do that as a man is a dream come true, it sounds like. We talked earlier about you, of course, graduating from Macalester in 2012 and earning all conference, all region honors during your time here. You also helped the Scots win the 2011 MIAC championship. It was the first conference championship since 1950 for the Scots. So maybe you can share that experience and being underdogs like that. Certainly Team Israel considered an underdog here, and now with pool play done, certainly you can kind of look forward to that. But before we look ahead, I want to take a look back and just ask you about your time at Macalester and maybe some of your fondest memories, and also those are formative years, and somewhere along your time here, it helped you develop into an Olympian, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Oh, sure. Well, what was nice was even playing after my career was over, I would come to St. Paul and play against the St. Paul Saints for so many years. So that was so fun. And every year I'd play, the athletic department would buy out some seats, and I'd have such a strong MAC showing. So that was always so special for me to have so many fans at those games. And but looking back to moments at Macalester, obviously met my wife. She played basketball, Maggie Wood at the time. I've changed her into a Glasser. So I look back at that with a lot of fondness, meeting her there, playing lots of table tennis matches on Kofi Annan's table in the Leonard Center. And then the guys, freshman through senior year, all those guys I played with that made my experience, along with Coach Parrington and the assistant coaches, just look back with a lot of fondness and so many great memories. And won't forget the MIAC tournament and that qualifying game when we won that conference championship at Concordia. Can remember it very vividly, and all those teammates. But also at MAC, just the so many different friends, not just in baseball, but through Fresh Concepts, the improv troupe at Macalester, so many positive memories. And we have a couple D3 guys on this team, which is really fun. So we have a little D3 crew, and we're proud of it. Can't be more proud to be a Scot and to be out here representing and representing all of D3 nations. So really proud of that. So thank you.
And everyone is certainly, like I mentioned, very proud of what you've been doing. I was able to tell a couple of people who were here when you were still here, Ron Osterman and Deanna Brabant, and their faces just lit up when they said, they kind of asked me a couple of questions, like they kind of didn't believe it. And then also just talking to Coach Pear and his reaction, he just, and the word that keeps coming out is, it's so cool. It's just really a cool thing. Looking ahead really quick, you're into the knockout stage. Do you know your opponent yet?
We'll see. It's going to likely, it'll be Mexico. Dominican Republic beat Mexico yesterday. So Japan plays Mexico today. So if Mexico beats Japan, then it's going to get interesting. It'll come down to some formula that'll break it down. But if Japan, who's the heavy favorite, defeats Mexico, then we'll have Mexico tomorrow.
Any thoughts about kind of your approach to that game and kind of what the team is looking to be able to kind of focus on or do well to be able to advance?
Yeah, I think what comes down to it is these last two games. They're in the past, and we know we've proven to ourselves that we can compete. And now it's just playing baseball, just like any other game. And it's special. It has that sense of urgency. It has that Game 7 feel, which makes every game so special. And I think we can hone the moment and own the moment, and if every one of our players plays their role, it can usually result in a win for us. So same thing as always with baseball, taking it pitch by pitch for sure.
Great. I think that game is going to be played at 10 p.m. local time Sunday. I think that's noon for you there. Does that make sense?
Correct. I believe that's correct.
I haven't checked the TV schedule. I know a lot of the games have been shown on the NBC Sports app. So hopefully folks out there can tune in and we'll root from our couches and TVs. But Mitch, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you have a lot of other fun things to do instead of talking to me, but I really appreciate your time to be able to kind of see the Olympics through your eyes. And again, super proud of you here. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. And hello to all my Mac family out there. So thanks so much for having me.